You said you eat a lot of bison, a lot of fish, so you're probably quite heavy on the protein. Do you have a protein target you're trying to hit every day?
I try to hit at least 200 grams a day. I don't measure anything or calculate anything, but I know I'm typically averaging around 230 to 240 a day. I try to keep it up in that over 200 range. I don't measure anything anymore. I used to at times. I know that the fat and protein are both pretty high because I eat the fat that's on the meat or the fats in the eggs and all that kind of stuff. So I know that's about a 1-to-1 ratio, somewhere in that area. And then the only thing I try to keep low is the carbs, and I don't do that intentionally. I just don't have carbs because I'm not eating anything but meat. And so it comes out that way. I have played with other things, by the way. I tried the honey thing. That was the worst thing I ever tried. That was a huge mistake. But I tried it for a while. We still got a whole bunch of honey in the kitchen if anybody wants it. We got so much honey. I don't know how I ended up with so much honey, but I need to find a way to get rid of this honey. But we tried that and it didn't work. I tried the fruit thing. When we go to my kids' house, they like to have strawberries and blueberries, and I'll usually eat a couple blueberries or a couple strawberries. I like them, but I just don't eat them regularly. They're not in the house to eat regularly. When I'm at my kids' house, they'll show up.
What was you said you tried eating honey? Because there's some people are advocating that everybody needs to be eating a bunch of honey and fruit. And what was a negative that happened to you when you tried that?
It's really hard to control your urge to eat sweets when you're eating a bunch of sweets. That's all I can say. If you're eating a bunch of honey, you have a desire for more honey. And if it's not honey, then it's other things, even if you don't have them in the house, because you start thinking about them. The brain is amazing and what it can muster up if you just give it a little bit of leeway. And no matter how powerful your brain is, it can be bad if you want to start down that road.
Yeah, and you said you grew up as like a chocoholic or a sweet kid that loved that stuff and couldn't stop eating it. And so fair enough.
I kept sweets on my desk at work for people, and I ate them all, but I said they were for everybody else in my group. It just was a real problem for me. So for me, I'm the wrong person to start on honey because once it starts, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think that there's a lot of people in your camp. I'm the same way. I just don't need that stuff. That stuff is something that is not a good part of my diet. You said your sleep was improved, your blood pressure's normalized, your blood glucose is in a normal range, you're getting stronger, you're sleeping better. Anything cognitively or any mood-wise, any changes there?
Yeah, I think it's improved. It's a harder thing to measure, but subjectively anyway, but I definitely feel better. When I get out of bed in the mornings, I don't use an alarm clock. I wake up, I get up, come downstairs, get around, go to the gym. There's just no hesitation in my brain or my body just to do the things that need to be done. My neighbor the other day, it was really funny. I mow my neighbor's lawn for him all the time. And why do I do that? Just because I feel like I got to do something. I just have a ton of energy and I'm not working. I have hobbies that I'm very active in, but I just have a lot of energy, and the energy level and the mental capacity is pretty amazing. I just find it very different, especially when I'm around people that are struggling with that. I find that it's different. There's no question in my mind there's a difference. When you feed the brain the right stuff, it works better, and the body.
Yeah, no doubt about that for sure. You said you see people around you struggling. How often are you tempted to say, hey, there's an answer here? Has that ever come up?
Oh, yeah, it comes up. And it's amazing to me how it's not received usually. I've talked to a number of people telling them that they could fix this or they could fix that. I don't get sunburns anymore either, by the way. I know this is a common thing you read on the internet, but I go out in the sun. I get a dark tan, which I never used to be able to do, and I never burn. So I'm at a nature hike with a bunch of people. There was probably 30 people in this little group. We're going to go out looking for particular butterflies. And I have this thing about nature and photography. So I take a lot of nature photography, and I'm really excited about going. And this lady is standing there and she says, I forgot my sunscreen. I'm going to burn to a crisp. And I looked at her and I said, well, I'm not going to burn because I never burn anymore because of how I eat. And she looked at me like, you are the craziest person I've ever met in the world. And people just have a hard time believing it. It's almost too good to be true sometimes.
I just keep being crazy, man. I think that's, there's nothing wrong with that.
It's true.
You're showing them a way that really can make a difference. And you said you still have a relationship with a physician, primary care physician. Does he or she have knowledge of what you're doing dietary wise? And are they on board with that? Or what are the thoughts on that?
He doesn't ask and I don't tell. Seriously, he will say to me, he'll say, how's it going? And I'll tell him how it's going. I tell him how great I feel. And I tell him what's going on. He'll check my numbers and he'll say, this is just so impressive. Keep doing what you're doing. That's what he'll say. And then we'll veer off a little bit. And I'll make some comment about what I'm doing. And it's almost like he tries not to hear it because he doesn't want to know. So I don't push on it. I say, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And we go on.
Yeah, I can imagine he's with his ears going, well, don't tell me. I don't want to hear.
That's exactly what it feels like. He never says that, but he doesn't. I told him one day, I'm an engineer by background, so I tend to love data. So I'll do some of my own blood tests sometimes. I'll get some test results and I'll take it in and I'll lay it on him. And he just ignores that too. He doesn't want to shake the boat. He doesn't want to upset the apple crate. He's got a steady stream of income coming from Medicare. That's what matters. And it's sad that it's that way because I would like to engage with my doctor about my life and my health long term, but I don't think he's capable of that. He's a great guy. He probably saved my life. He's the one that found the prostate cancer. And I owe him a lot for that because he found it early enough that he saved my life, I'm sure. But he's not the guy that's going to help me figure out anything that's more deep and metabolic.